You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
And welcome back. Our guest this morning is newly elected North Carolina State Insurance Commissioner Wayne Goodwin. Local State Senator Julia Bozeman introduced a bill that would place a temporary halt on rate and deductible increases. Any idea of the status of that and what you think, what kind of role the legislature might play in all of this?
Sure. Well, first of all, as is the custom and the requirement, that legislation that's filed is then assigned to a committee, and then eventually the committee chairs that decide whether to have hearings on particular bills, including legislation that Senator Bozeman files. I welcome legislators to provide their input, because this any insurance issue, whether we're talking about coastal insurance and homeowners insurance, whatever it may be, certainly it's a policy decision that our elected legislators must weigh in on, because the statutes are written by our legislators, and as insurance commissioner, I'm to execute and fulfill what the law is. So I do encourage legislators to provide their best guidance, their best advice, and their wisdom as to what is best for North Carolina, including what is best for Wilmington.
Yeah, as I mentioned before the break, in Florida, State Farm Insurance just announced that they're going to stop doing business in underwriting homeowners insurance. Now, if the legislators approve the Bozeman bill that would put a temporary cap on escalating rates and deductibles, could that hamper choices in North Carolina? Could State Farm pull out of North Carolina? And what would that do to our issue of choice? And
well, I can't speak for State Farm or for any insurance company, because I speak on behalf of the people of the state of North Carolina. But I do know in Florida, various things happen there that we do not want to have happen here in the Tar Heel State. Due to the hurricanes and the storms, the insurance market was decimated, and folks could not get affordable insurance whatsoever. And we are blessed that we do not have as much coastline as Florida does, and we're also blessed that we don't have as many storms, serious storms, that Florida has. That being said, I mentioned earlier, there's a dual goal I have as insurance commissioner: requirement by law, make sure there's affordable, fair insurance rates, and also make sure we have a solvent, competitive market. And when we look at fellow states in the South, when we hear that a major insurance company pulls out of a state, that's one to consider. Now, I am aware that the decision in Florida will not affect North Carolina residents unless they own a second home or property in Florida.
All right, before we go any further, let's talk a little about the North Carolina Rate Bureau and their part in establishing some, or weighing in on what insurance rates should be in North Carolina. Tell our viewers exactly what is the Rate Bureau.
Well, the Rate Bureau was also created by the legislature many decades ago to help ensure efficient government in this state as it relates to regulating insurance and the business of insurance. People may not realize it, but there are a lot more insurance companies than folks may understand. There are like 1,500 insurance companies that provide products of one type or another. Instead of having 1,500 different companies contact the Department of Insurance about rate decreases or increases or keeping rates the same, the legislature and other leaders in the state decades ago decided that there should be one entity that all the insurance companies work together through, and they make one joint request for a change upward or downward on insurance rates.
So would it be a fair characterization to say that the Rate Bureau is a collective bargaining tool for the insurance industry?
In a way. I mean, they do speak on behalf of, I guess, the whole collection of insurance companies, and there's a board that the various companies have members sit on, and they provide
Is that who makes the recommendations,
yes,
this
sir.
board?
Yes, sir.
And they're appointed by by the insurance industry?
Yes, sir, and that's what the state law allows.
And Is there a specific formula for the makeup of that body? I mean, is there 12, 13?
There is a certain number. I can't tell you off the top of my
Okay.
head the current number, but there is a certain number based upon, I believe, the amount of insurance business that each company has in the state, and of course, when the Bureau makes a filing to the Department of Insurance in the Commissioner's office, it's one document, but that document is a product of that board, that non-state board.
Would it be fair to say that the Department of Insurance and the Rate Bureau are sometimes in an adversarial relationship?
Yes, I'd say most of the time they
Most
are.
of the time.
But that's the function of what we do. You know, that board speaks for the insurance industry. I speak on behalf of what is best for all of North Carolina's families and businesses.
But if the DOI and the Rate Bureau, the Department of Insurance and the Rate Bureau don't agree on a rate, for example, like the auto rate that you mentioned, it goes to litigation.
Right, it can go to a hearing, and then if the hearing result is not one that the Rate Bureau agrees with, then there can be an appeal. Now, I will mention this. On occasion, there is agreement, for example, on workers' comp insurance, which is what businesses are required to have for covering their employees. The Rate Bureau requested a reduction in workers' comp insurance. And of course, the Commissioner's office, we agreed for a reduction in workers' comp insurance. And so there are instances where there is that agreement, but usually there is disagreement.
We're going to come back and talk more about the insurance industry and your rates with North Carolina Insurance Commissioner Wayne Goodwin. Stay with us.